trying to sort out my clutch and brake pedals, and I've got some measurements which I'd already put in the bulkhead, and this is my brake, and that lines up exactly, I would say, although I'm actually using a 150 pedal, but anyway, that seems alright. And this is where I drilled my hole here, small hole, but that's where it needs to be. You can actually put a Sharpie pen through the brake pedal and it fits nicely, and it'll just point it at the mark. So I'll go from a drill to a jigsaw. This won't go down well with everybody, but this is a pedal. I think it's XK140, I believe, but it's a cable operated throttle. I'm wondering if I can use that instead of the old rickety rod system. So just investigating that. I've made this this bracket. And this will go on onto some existing studs here. And pull through there. I mean, that's not the finished link at the bottom there, so I don't know what cable I've got yet. But that's that end sorted, I think. So I'll see if I can mount this somewhere sensible on the inside. And that's it in action. So the cable will head off in that direction towards the centre of the car and loop back around and come in through this side wall through there. I just measured that tapes there. I need 45mm of pull. 45mm didn't sound very much to me, so I've just measured my modern Japanese car, and I've got 50mm of pedal. So what I've done, I've put a piece of card under there which is 45mm off the vise, and I set up this square so as it's touching the pedal at rest, and then that gap there is 55mm, so that sounds pretty good. There it is, sort of in place. It's on a piece of timber at the moment, so I can move it around and try it in different places. And this pedal is bent. I've twisted this shaft here so that this bends the opposite way, so which I think is how it should go, that sort of bend. My brake pedal, I think that should actually come straight off the shaft and there shouldn't be this crank in the end on this application, but that works quite well. It just gives you a bit more space. I'm only a size 10 foot, so not massive, but that just feels more comfortable. And I think that has moved over a little bit into the spare gap, so it gives you plenty of room. I can't get it any further forward because this that starts to foul on this curve. I mean, I could maybe another few millimeters, but that's not worth worrying about. But the angle on that looks wrong, and this is my pedal from the opposite side. I don't know if that's my brake or my clutch, but the angle on that just seems wrong. You're putting all your pressure here rather than flat on the pedal. So if that pedal was twisted a bit, and I could actually shorten that because there's about 3 inches till it bottoms out on the brake. So I could shorten that a little and just twist it up a bit. And I can put a bit more crank in this pedal here. And I've got plenty of travel on there. I need to put a stop on there because that goes way too far. But that's looking good. So first trial fit of this. And I'm going to mount this plate on the underside of the bulkhead. And I've put that taper on it because that'll throw the pedal further forward and down a bit, which is where I want it. And it also gives me space to put those bolts in. There's a small hole there, which is where the cable comes through, so it's a biggish hole in the bulkhead, and then that little hole there should just accept that ferrule. You never know if these are going to fit, so we'll see. Back to the accelerator linkage, and I don't remember where I got with that, but this is the plate. This will go under the inside the car, under the bulkhead, in that position, and then bolted to that will be the pedal. The cable will come through there. Now I did try and use this. This is a mini cable, which would have done perfectly, but it was just too short. I could have done with another few inches. So anyway, I've gone with this one. And these got nice ends on. That end there, and just a ball on that end. So if I pause it for a minute. So the ball comes through that end, and that goes on there, picks that up, and then on the other end we've got this, which of course this plate here I made for the mini one, and it doesn't quite work with this one. This is quite nice, it's got this adjustable section on it, but that could do with being up there. So I'm going to snip a little bit off the cable to get that in there, and I'll have to put a bigger hole in this plate and a slot so that I can slide that in. And then I put a hole in the side of the bulkhead here, and I can actually thread that through to where the cable comes through. That's the accelerator done. I'm just going to make a pin to go through there. It goes through the bulkhead. You see that? There we are, through that grommet. And then inside. These, I like the angle of that pedal. This one points forward a little bit too much, so I'm going to twist that one back, and then they'll pretty much be in line. And I think that'll be good. I need to put a stop on that, stop it going too far. So that's that done. The seat thingies are in. So now I'm going to try and get it running again, because everything's been disconnected. And have a look at the torsion bars. Try and set those up somewhere close. and then the final adjustment on the body. Well, that cable, quite difficult to shorten that because you can't get the inner cable out of the sleeve, so you have to peel it off, and that's really tough. New fan belt, old one. This is the one I've gone with, but I've got an alternator rather than a dynamo, so might not suit everybody, but I think this is pretty much the same length as the old one, because I did fit the old one, and that seemed to work. The length was good on that, and the length is good on this one as well. Seat position now. These are the old captive plates, if you like. These go underneath the car, and these centre holes here and here are where it's fixed to the underside of the car from the top, with some countersunk screws that can be just beaten down into those countersunk holes. And I think I'm roughly where they should be. This is the front sort of lip. I'm on the left hand side of the car now, and then it continues onto the wooden floor, and I think it goes roughly there. And I've got a line, that red line there, which is my centre line of where it goes. And the seat can be mounted you got two fixing holes at the front and one at the back. So you can fix it through both of those holes, I think they line up, or you can move the seat back. Let me just check that. Right, yes, that's right. So you've got at the front of the seat runner you've got two holes there, and at the back of the seat runner you've got two holes there, but only one of those is used, because at the back of this tapped plate you've only got one hole. So you can either mount it like that or like that, and you're not moving the plate, you're moving the seat. The plate always stays in that position. So if you use the rear hole there, that will give you a little bit more leg room. On the other seat I've mounted it here, and at the back of the seat I've got about a 2-inch gap between this seat back and the rear bulkhead, if you like. So I'm going to change that because I'm pretty tall, so I shall change that and give me some more leg room. This one, I'm going to put it in the same position so that when the seats are back in the same position, the backrests will both line up. I thought my seats were original, but I don't think they are, because they're PVC and vinyl, which is a shame because I'm going to use those, but now I don't know what to do. Probably new seat covers. I'm not sure which order this goes back in, but I'm trying to get the radiator back in, and I believe you have to drop the shroud in first, this thing, and then I tried putting the radiator in and then putting the fan blade in, and that didn't work. You just can't really get to these bolts. So second attempt, radiator out, put the fan blade back on, and now try and drop the radiator back in. I think you've got to take these brackets off the side of the radiator so as you can drop it in. This is a little wire this is where all the balancers line up, and that's a hole drilled through everything, so you can put it back. So that's done. So another go at dropping the radiator in. So radiator roughly in. That seemed to work all right. I'm just looking at the this is the lower steel radiator pipe. I'm just wondering whether to put this in. This is although initially I'm not going to put an electric fan in while everything's off. I could put this in, and this is just a switch. And I like the idea of having the switch on the outlet from the radiator, which is really the temperature I think I'm really interested in. I mean, if it's boiling hot going in and freezing cold coming out, then this is where it needs to measure. And I've gone for one 12 degrees higher than the thermostat, so my thermostat I think is 78, 80 degrees, so this one I think is 80, 82 degrees, something like that. This comes with this is part of a kit, and it comes with a collar, so I can braise that collar into there, but I need to have it sticking out rather than dropped in, because that takes up a lot of space and I don't want to block the flow. So that'll come out there somewhere, and then that'll screw in. And of course I'll have to put an earth off this as well, because this relies on earthing, and because we've got rubber both ends it won't earth. So I'll have to put a little tab to put an earth wire on as well. So I think I'm just going to get that in the lathe and just put a little tape on those first few threads there, so as I can just drop that into a hole and wedge it in. And see if that'll work. So there we are, taper on that, hole in the pipe, and that's a nice tight fit. And if we can see up the pipe, there's not too much blocking the flow there, and that's going to be on the side of the pipe. I did have trouble on a car before when this was mounted at the top of the pipe, and it was always in an air pocket, which of course didn't really work, so that should be fine. See if I can braise that up now, so that's ready to go in there, nice fit. And that tap on the other side, that's really tight and it's sealed well, so I didn't want to take that off, so I've wrapped it in tissue and soaked it, which I think will keep it cool enough. I've not done a lot of brazing, so give it a go. I think that's done alright. A little tab there, a little bit of stainless steel. I'll put an earth on to get that painted up. I don't know if you can see this. This is the hose from the radiator, bottom of the radiator. There's my steel pipe. And that's gone in nice. It's just tucking up slightly out of the way, and follow it through. And this strap, you can see this strap here. That was a fight to get that in. I've just put a piece of, that's bicycle inner tube there around the strap, just to snug it up. But just check your strap, because that rubber pipe coming from the water pump is very close to that crank damper, and that just pulls it away. So, another job ticked off.